Hi again, it's me, Cinnamon. I'm a 23-year-old working a corporate job who loves all things personal finance, especially budgeting, and today I'll be going over my yearly budget goals to see how I'm tracking for Q1. So I already went over the spreadsheet when I made my budget goals, and I'm going to just recap it really quickly. I estimated my gross income to be about $189,000, and this is my W-2 income, including my signing bonus, but not including any stock I'll be getting paid out this year. And from that income, I estimated my taxes to be $57,000, leaving me with a net income of $131,000. And with that net income, I decided or laid out a few scenarios for my personal expenses and savings and investments using different savings rates. And I decided to try to go for a 60% savings rate this year, leaving me with $52,000 to spend on personal expenses and $78,000 that I will be investing. So, given those numbers, here is where I would have to be for Q1 for everything to be on track. I'd have to have earned $47,000 so far this year, paid $14,000 in taxes so far this year, spent at most $13,000 on my personal expenses, and invested $90,500 into the market. Now that we've gone over that, I'm going to see how I match up to those goals in my YNAB. So starting off with income, you can see that for the first 3 months of the year, my total income has been $53,304.09. So I'm definitely over my goal for Q1. And a main reason why I'm over my goal for Q1 is because in Q1, I did have a 3 paycheck month. I will not be having a 3 paycheck month in Q2, so my income for Q2 will be lower. So that is definitely one reason why I'm over. And another reason why I'm over is that when I did my estimates, I only factored in these two income sources, my signing bonus and my gross salary. But I didn't factor in cash back I would get, interest from my high yield savings account, and reimbursements I get from work. So those are definitely significantly lower numbers, but they do add up. And it's just looking at the math real quickly. This is contributing about 1,000, like $750, right? Something like that. So that is making up for some of this difference as well. So I'm going to put this in bold. And yeah, I don't remember how I calculated this gross income number. And I do factor in a promotion in Q2 into this number, but I don't remember what base salary amounts I was using when I factored in that promotion. So it's still a little bit of a question mark for me, like how accurate this number is going to be. And I'm definitely going to redo this spreadsheet when I get my promotion to make sure my numbers and goals are like as accurate as possible once I have that concrete information. So now flashing back to YNAB, let's look at my expenses. And I do track my taxes in YNAB, and you can see that so far I've paid $14,528.68 in taxes. So again, that has me over my Q1 milestone, which is good. But because my income is significantly more than expected, I would also have expected my taxes to be significantly more than expected, and it's not. So I definitely know that I am underpaying in taxes, and I'm going to have to rectify that at some point this year. But again, I'm going to wait until I get that promotion so I know what my new numbers are going to look like so I can make my adjustments accordingly. Next is spending. So I have 3 spending categories in YNAB. My core spending, which is where I do most of my spending out of. This includes my fixed expenses like my rent, but also my variable expenses like my groceries and food, because I still consider those like very necessary expenses. Even though that is variable, I still have to eat like a basic level of food, which will cost some like amount of money, and I need to be set up for that. So that's why I like to group these together. And then I have some sinking funds, which is usually for my like less necessary expenses. I don't have any like long-term expenses that I save for month over month. I kind of just use this when I am trying to save for something big, any regular like travel or shopping for home stuff like that. So a lot more unnecessary spending happens in this category. And you can see that there are a few numbers here. And so just to make sure that I'm definitely getting my spending amount correctly, I can look at this like mentally right now and see that it is around $12,000, but I did put it into a calculator here. And yeah, it's $12,058.59. That is for my spending across my 3 spending category groups. And so that is under what I give myself for spending. And in that case, that is what I'm looking for because that means I'm definitely not going to spend more than I gave myself. So that is looking good. So already just knowing that I made more income than I expected, I also paid less in taxes for that income than expected. I am already expecting my investments to be over this milestone, but let's go to YNAB to confirm that. So in my investment group, you can see that so far this year I've invested $23,347.05. So that is definitely way over my $19,500 goal. And again, I think the big reason for this is because of that 3 paycheck month that let me get really ahead on investing. And let's see, another thing that let me get a bit ahead on investing is that I do invest my cash back and my interest. So you can see about $700 in investing has come from that. Yeah, I feel like every month when I'm in the weeds of it, it kind of feels like I'm behind on investing for some reason because I forget that in January I was able to front load so much of my investing. So it doesn't really feel like I'm so far ahead, but having this quarterly view, it's really like good to see that I am pretty on track. So this is also bold blue. And one thing that I found really interesting about these numbers is that if I go back to YNAB, on average every month, I'm investing $7,782.35. And my financial goal for the year that factors in all of my income is to invest $90,000. And that would mean I was investing $7,500 a month. So the fact that this average is already over that $7,500 a month means that I'm really on track for that overall goal I have. And that goal, my plan to reach it was to use my stock that I get paid out from work, but I'm already on track even without using that. I know for future months to stay on track, I'll definitely have to use my stock because um, one, again, next quarter, I'm not having a 3 paycheck month, but also two, I think there's going to be a point where my income is slightly lower because I will stop getting my signing bonus, but I also wouldn't have gotten my promotion yet. So I will have a slight gap there where my income will be lower. So still, even though I'm expecting this quarter to be better than other quarters, so it's not an accurate representation of what's going to happen for the whole entire year, it's still really good to see that it was a pretty good quarter and everything was on track if I just focus on this view. So the final thing I wanted to look at was market gains because I find it really interesting just to look at how much of my net worth increasing is coming from my contributions versus what's happening in the market. So to do that, I'm going to flash over to my, personal capital dashboard here. And my net worth in terms of my cash and my checking account hasn't really changed. I've been keeping pretty much the same amount of cash on hand. So I'm not going to focus on those cash categories too much, but I will talk about my overall net worth, which is $256,555.23. And it has been on the decline because I have been spending cash without getting paid yet. And also, I think the market is slightly going down today. So I'm not going to focus on cash. I'm going to focus on my investments because that is where I'm really putting my efforts. And just in my investments, my net worth is $208,036.83. And yeah, the market is slightly going down today because you can see just today I lost $1,000, which is totally fine by me. Okay, let's actually bring this to the first. What's happening here? So in my investments, just to quickly go over them, I don't know what these things mean. I'll probably have to look over this at some point. Um, I've actually never looked at this view in depth before, so that's actually really interesting that it's showing me like that portions of my Roth IRA is still in cash. I was not aware of that. I will definitely be doing something about that soon. Um, but yeah, you can see my investment accounts include my 401k, my HSA, my taxable brokerage account, my Roth IRA, and then a traditional IRA that I use for doing backdoor Roths. And all the balances are here. I do get tired of saying numbers, so I won't be going through all of them. But most of everything is in my 401k and my taxable brokerage. They're actually pretty like head to head right now or neck and neck right now. So that's interesting to me. I'm really wondering like how much I want to put into the taxable brokerage before I move over to doing something like mega a mega backdoor Roth, something like that, which is basically the after tax 401k. So yeah, I might stop putting into a taxable brokerage and open like the after tax 401k and see what happens. But so far for now, until this is like $100,000, I won't make that decision. So yeah, back to the growth here. You can see that in the past 101 days, apparently, my investment account has grown $3,552. And as we just went over, I only put in $23,000. So there is a significant amount of my increase in net worth that is coming from market gains. So if I take this number, what is being said to be the increase I've seen in my net worth and subtract this number, which, yeah, YNAB doesn't let you copy paste, but it's 23,347. You can see that in market gains, I've had $14,204.95. I don't have any goals regarding market gains because they're totally out of my hands. I just find it to be something interesting to track. And it is really interesting to me because I was so afraid to like actually invest money in the market for a very long time. And I always felt like, oh, I had just missed when the market was good. Like I was in college when the market was good. I didn't have a job when the market was good and I missed all the growth. But clearly there's still a lot of growth opportunities and who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But I feel like I was finally actually part of like an insane bull run because yeah, past 3 months in the market, I don't think this is like normal kind of growth to see, but I don't know, I'll have to like look at the percentages to check that. I just feel like everything has been going up and up and up a lot every day. And yeah, it's kind of cool to finally like have my money be part of what is happening. So I'm really glad that I am like properly investing now. And I'm just so like eager about investing now. It's totally different from how I used to be just last year. So far, so good. I'm super excited for Q2 because I will have the details, or the end of Q2 because I will have the details of my promotion. And so I can finally update these numbers. Everything feels so like fake to me right now because I know my numbers are completely wrong. Let's see if there's anything else on the sheet I want to go over. So many of these sinking funds aren't happening. Like this one is not happening. I can strike it through. I can't find the strike through. Oh, right there. This is probably not happening either. Yeah. So I'll just strike that through. That's the only sinking fund that's so far like fallen through. I'm on track with this financial goal. I am still going to have to figure out how to increase my income, but I really just want to focus on my promotion right now and getting those numbers. And then lastly, increasing my non-W2 income has been very much like not something I've been able to work on because I've looked into other job opportunities and the ROI after like my tax rate doesn't really make sense for me. So I'm trying to find something that like really makes sense um, with like the time I put in and how much I get out of it after tax. So yeah, this one I feel like it's going to take a lot more work than I was thinking. And so far, what I have been doing though is just like learning more and upskilling actually in a different field to see if I can get like consulting opportunities through my blend of skills. So that is something I'm considering, but I don't have any path towards monetization. So I feel like this is going to be my hardest goal of the year. Anyway, that is my recap. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good Q1 and a good start to your Q2. Bye.